What's up? Today we're going to be reacting to Nintendo's lawsuit plans collapse by Frigatenga Plays. I personally don't care for his intro style, but he's still pretty good. He gives you good information, pretty good. He's always dissing on Nintendo, so I can respect that. This is more likely about the lawsuit Nintendo filed against the U.S. government for its patents, because that was fucking funny when the government just pretty much said fuck you. But if you want to check his video out, it will be down in the description below to his video. I do highly recommend you check it out. But without further ado, let's get into this. Operation Epic Fury. Undefeated. Man, I'm gonna be copyrighted for this music. So he's just playing the fucking Wii fucking shit. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, I can't look. I can't look. Did they? Oh no. Oh, I can't look. I can't look. I can't look.
Man, look.
Did they do it?
Did they do it?
Oh
no. Man's psychotic, maybe.
Oh.
You are going straight to hell.
I smell something burning.
Oh my God. The White House is wilding out here. Okay, listen, before you guys get mad, because I love it, by the way. Politics are very divisive. I'm not going to get political with you on this one.
I am.
I just want to let you know. I don't agree with the U.S. government making war propaganda using Nintendo's intellectual property, okay? All right, but that being said, you can't lie to me and tell me it's not absolutely hilarious.
It is pretty funny.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Are you really gonna tell me that we're not living in the most hilarious timeline in human history?
Unfortunately, we're not, because honestly, this is all like a lot of shit going on. It's a bunch of dog shit, so we're living through a pretty shitty period of time.
Or American history? No, we absolutely are. Idiocracy wasn't a parody, it was a prediction. I just didn't think one day we would wake up and see the White House making war propaganda using Nintendo's IPs, but based on that footage I just showed you and you just saw, you can see why Nintendo is not exactly the happiest camper with America. Yeah. Although that is not why they are currently or actively suing the United States government. I didn't even know you could do that, which makes me wonder,
you can
I sue
and
get my ass back into America?
Odds are.
Can I sue them for everything ICE did to me? I mean, they broke my popsicle stick in half. It's why you don't ever see it down here. See, that's why I don't want you to see my broken popsicle stick. Unless you
see, like, he's like a person that is a VTuber. He like used his VTuber to like used to be like a dude on a popsicle stick, which is kind of weird, but kind of funny.
Want to. But in order to do that, we gotta get to 130,000 subs. I mean, you guys gave me a huge surge of brand new subs last video. It was so unexpected, but I ain't gonna complain. So hit that subscribe button if you would love to see more videos like this. All right, then. Tensions between Nintendo and America are at an all-time high. Now, personally, if I was
Nintendo like suing America for the patent shit, tariff shit, honestly was very bold of them. As in, like, this could bring if the government want to be petty, they could actually just like to divert more departments, people to look over their patents that shouldn't have been approved and have a lot of those patents revoked. They could absolutely fuck Nintendo. Now, I'm saying that would be petty, but Nintendo has some patents in America that they should not honestly have.
Based on history, I wouldn't try to pick a fight with the United States, if you know what I mean. But if you want to sue America over tariffs...
Fucking nuclear bomb, what? Oh, what's this? Nintendo of America sues U.S. government over tariffs. Platform holder is seeking refunds for the initiation and administration of unlawful trade measures last year. See, I would say, this ain't that bad. But if you win, so are you going to give money back to everybody who had to pay extra for the Switch 2 because of the tariffs? Well, are you, Nintendo? Of course you're not. Let's be fucking real here. You ain't gonna give people any partial bit of their money back for like having to pay extra for a console because of tariffs. You just want that fucking money in your pocket.
That's a different matter. As you may know, the Nintendo Switch 2 had trouble launching originally, including its accessories, and the president would constantly fearmonger its consumers, letting them know, we might have to raise the prices, we might have to raise the prices.
Well, then raise it.
And at every step, it
They'll be
was
buying
due to Trump's tariffs imposed on Nintendo and various other companies for imported goods. And guess what? It never happened. I'll also say something that might be controversial and piss off a lot of people, but you can't go on blaming tariffs forever, Nintendo. Because tariffs are not the reason you guys made...
No, they do this shit. They blame it on tariffs because it's an easy excuse to raise the price. And they don't have to be honest. They can lie their asses off.
$80 Mario Kart World.
not
Tariffs
legal.
are not the reason Nintendo charges you to use your webcam or to use your built-in mic.
I will not own a Nintendo Switch 2, although I want to get a Switch 2. I won't lie to you. Hell, maybe I'm lying. Maybe I will own a Switch 2 eventually. But right now, like, I'll probably buy it secondhand. Because the Switch 2, they can brick your console. And for anyone that doesn't know what I mean when I say brick your console, I mean if you are online, you are playing online. If they just don't like your name, they can have it where you're completely console banned, which means your console isn't even playable. You can't play any of your games on your console. Your console just says fuck you. And then you know what that nice $500 Switch 2 is now? It's now a $500 paperweight because it's useless. Unless you can find a way to hack and bypass the Switch. Otherwise, it is completely useless junk. I hate that, and I believe that should be illegal. If you want to ban somebody from online services because they violated the terms of service for the online service, I get that. But completely bricking a $500 console, saying you can't use it, period, not even offline, I think that should be illegal. I think that should go against the people's consumer rights, and that U.S. government should step in and say, "Hey, you can't do this. You can't do this. This is illegal." But we don't have a law against that at the moment yet. I think there is a law being proposed right now that would actually make it. I can't remember what it was. Well, maybe I'm thinking of like the Visa and MasterCard deal. Never mind. There might not be a law being proposed for it, but I think it should be heavily considered that there be consumer laws like put in place for digital goods now, and as well as console goods, like saying like, oh, you just own a license to use this console. You pay $500 for a license to use this console. No, I don't think that should fly. I don't think that should fly one fucking bit. Because you know what that means? No, I want to make this clear. When I say your console banned, your account's not banned, but your console is. You can go buy another console, and you can like change your name and get to play on that console. But that old console, it's fucked. Never usable again by anybody. You see what they're doing there? It's like, oh, you did something we don't like, so we console ban you. So if you want to play our game still, well, you got to go buy another Switch. 2. The original Switch, which is what I have, they can't console ban you on that. Unless maybe they can if they have like a firmware update or some shit like that. Maybe they can make it where they can console ban you. But as of right now, that's not possible. It's fucked up, man.
Microphone on your console, or to have access to the button on your console.
That is a paid button, by the way. You have to have a subscription to use that button. That is fucking crazy.
Access all of that. You know, Nintendo's
I don't remember what it
pricing has always been incredibly greedy. And then they thought themselves the victims of tariffs, when in reality, the cost of all of that.
Also, Pokepia, I've heard really good things about, but guess what? A game keycard. Internet required to download. It is only a game keycard. There is no fucking physical one. And people like said, "Oh, what a W, what a W!" Like, "Oh, fuck you, no, you can't pirate the game." I wanted to mention this. People that think you can't pirate this game, you're sorely mistaken. Where there is a will, there's a way, and it will just take a matter. It'll just be a matter of time before people will pirate this game and put it online. I'm not encouraging it, but the people that say, "Oh, you can't pirate it," I'm like, you're a dumbass. You can. It is completely possible. It will only be a matter of time.
Is always passed down to the consumer. So no company out there is really necessarily a victim of tariffs because it's all being refunded regardless. If you know or don't know, Trump used the International Emergency Economic Powers Act on February 1st of last year to impose reciprocal tariffs on imports from countries like China, Japan, Mexico, and Canada, claiming it was
what
a
they said
national
for?
emergency due to trade deficits. This led to over $200 billion collected in duties overall. Those tariffs hit 10 to 25% on electronics, which affected companies that were trying to import parts for Nintendo. Well, the one based in Japan, but with US operations, of course, which meant higher costs on Switch 2 components from places like Vietnam and China. Now, these tariffs were paused for a brief second, but then they got reinstated at 25%, I believe, on South Korea and Japan in July of last year.
All right.
Overall, collecting
Not bad.
about $200 billion. This, of course, led to
I think tariffs is a W for the United States because everywhere else does tariffs. The United States was one of the only places that don't. We need to make money to pay off our debt, the United States debt. And right now we have no way of we aren't making the money. And the only money they're getting really is from taxpayers at this point. And some other sources. But what I'm trying to say is this is a good way for the United States to make a lot of money. And which should give them an excuse to lower our taxes. But they won't. Odds are they were not going to.
a delay of the Switch 2 back in April of last year, which Nintendo blamed on tariffs and, of course, quote-unquote market conditions, which we all know is complete bullshit. Then February 20th of this year, the Supreme Court ruled that the IEEPA tariffs were illegal, which now leads us to March 6th, where Nintendo files a lawsuit for refunds with interest.
Oi. They.
And that's what leads us to our current predicament, because
I don't think
Nintendo
so.
doesn't just want a refund. Nintendo wants a refund with interest. They want more given back to them. Well, actually, not even given back. At that point, they want to receive more money. They don't want to just be refunded. They want to be...
They're greedy as fuck. I'm just telling you the facts. They are greedy as fucking hell. And the deal saying the tariffs are illegal is complete and utter bogus.
given extra money on top of those refunds of the exact amount. And it's not just corporate
Muffins are
drama.
done.
It's tied to higher prices for Switch 2 accessories and delays in pre-orders last year. And Nintendo feels the US government owes them for that now. For some reason. Never mind the fact that, we've been having tariffs imposed on our own country for a long ass time. Well, but the minute we impose tariffs on anyone else, all of a sudden, the rest of the world expects a refund, and a company like Nintendo expects more on top of said refund. In spite of the fact that the Switch 2 is still a soaring success, regardless of tariffs, regardless of whatever IEEPA did, these guys still raked in record-breaking profits. The console's still the highest selling console of all time, well, fastest selling console of all time, I mean. It's a sweeping success, but all the pricing of first...
They were a sweeping success, but did not become a sweeping success as much as they wanted to be with the Switch 2. The Switch 2, it sold a whole lot when it first released. But unlike the Switch 1, after the launch, the sales plummeted down. Way, way, way faster. So reality is it's a success at launch. Long term though, not so successful long term for its console.
Subscriptions and digital software, that was all Nintendo's decision. Being able to brick people's consoles. I mean, if you want to be real about this whole situation, Nintendo isn't a victim of tariffs whatsoever.
They're not.
But they are using this as a golden opportunity to try and squeeze more money out of American taxpayers. And that's why I hate Nintendo. Even though I know you, my audience, don't consider me American. You guys keep trying to throw me over the border. You keep calling ICE raids on my house. I am one of you. No lo quieres creer, pero sí soy uno de ustedes.
I don't speak Spanish.
Just pretend I didn't speak Spanish. I'm one of you, I swear. I swear to God. Well, today we got news about
This is gonna be funny.
tariff refund. And it brings a big old Kool-Aid smile to my face because I love the idea of my tax money not going to Nintendo.
I love that
people
too.
seem to forget I have a raging hate boner for Nintendo. So any dime denied to them is a monumental victory for me. So Nintendo sued the Treasury, DHS, and others on March 6, 2026 in the U.S. Court of International Trade, demanding full refunds, plus interest
Bullshit.
and legal fees for tariffs paid on imports. They called the tariffs unlawful and linked them directly to Switch 2 disruptions, which I'm not sure what was disrupting Nintendo. You're gonna have to show said disruptions.
Need that
Nintendo's
proof.
lawsuit against the U.S. government is now paused, and it's unclear when legal proceedings will resume. The
Probably never. Just leave it on pause indefinitely.
case is one of many opened up against the Trump administration in recent months over sweeping tariffs imposed in 2025. But now it faces some uncertainty. How Nintendo's suit will end was never set in stone, and now its timeline also carries a big question mark. According to a court update obtained by GameFile, Nintendo's lawsuit has been
I don't know how long they can legally keep it paused, but I would assume a very long time. So I don't know if Nintendo's lawyers are just gonna be set there on the sideline this entire time or what.
automatically stayed, meaning paused, because of an earlier ruling. In December 2025, the U.S. Court of International Trade stayed all unassigned IEEPA tariff-related cases until the court can determine appropriate next steps for resolving these suits. Since then, the Supreme Court has ruled against Trump's IEEPA tariffs, but the question of how to manage potential refunds remains. It seems
I don't think we should stop tariffs. I think we should have tariffs. And I think it's stupid that we don't. No, they're blaming price hikes on tariffs. I'm like, alright, so since tariffs are going, so you're going to lower those prices, right? Fuck no, they're not. It just shows that they gave them an excuse to raise the price. They're not going to lower the price. They want more and more money. That's how companies work. More and more profit.
the CIT may still lack a firm answer to those questions, as Nintendo's lawsuit has paused under this earlier order, and as such, it's uncertain when the case will resume. If it ever resumes. Because, I mean, we're America, motherfucker. We could just tell you to fuck off. It's that simple. Nintendo is lucky that any refund is even being considered for them. The tariffs in question have led Nintendo to raise its prices for some Switch 2 accessories. Bullshit!
Dude, their accessories have been expensive out the ass way before the tariffs. So that is absolute dog shit of a lie. You know why? Here's fucking why. They coded the Switch 2 to block third-party accessories. Because they want you to buy their accessories. They're overpriced $80 controllers that don't even have that stuff that like prevents the stick drift from happening. They want you to just pay $80 for that. But yet you can turn around and you can spend probably $80, maybe even $50 on a different controller. Probably even lower. That has that stuff that like stops it from getting that stick drift. There's a third party. It's frustrating.
Don't care. Nintendo would have raised their prices on accessories regardless of tariffs
Oh,
or
yeah.
not. This is a perfect excuse for them. I mean, a company as greedy as Nintendo isn't even looking for refunds. They're looking to profit off of the tariffs that were imposed on them. Because they're not your friends. And guess what? That's going to come out of your tax dollars. Don't you just love this company? However, the company kept the price of the console itself the same, which could mean that it accepted a lower profit margin amid the tariffs. So its current lawsuit could help it earn that lost profit back. No profit was lost. Let's be honest. No fucking profit was lost. The consumers covered their ass. Supply chain costs are just part of the picture too. After the Trump administration implemented these import duties, Nintendo and Sony both suffered falling stock prices as investors worried about tariffs' impact on profitability in US sales. Let's be honest, that didn't even happen either. The stock drop that happened to Nintendo and Sony was not related to tariffs. We saw them hit a stock price drop somewhere around the holiday season, where they had record low sales for both their units. And as
Because their units are so high priced. I'm sorry, like I'm saying, it may be rude, but man, like Now, units are high priced, and cost of living is getting higher too. So, when you gotta choose between paying rent and getting a game console for your kid, what do you really think you're gonna do? I hope to God you say you pay the rent, because if you don't pay that fucking rent, they're gonna kick your ass out on the street. And then what good is that fucking console? Well, it makes a pretty good chair.
Nothing to do with tariffs. It's just the matter of fact that these consoles went up in price. The Switch 1 went up in price. The PS5 Pro and the standard went up in price. The games are $70 fucking dollars. All of that price was set before any tariffs ever struck these guys. But the excuse making is an opportunity for a company like Nintendo, like I said, to rake in profits from it. They are taking advantage of a situation, and that's really ultimately what it's about. Any stock market related losses are unlikely to play a role in the court proceedings. No shit! As the suit focuses on the tariffs Nintendo paid, but these broader impacts give the company all the more reason to pursue legal action. They're not going to be able to win that. They will get their refund, but they're not gonna get more money on top of it.
Oh yeah,
they are insane.
no,
they
they're not.
Want interest on top of their own refund.
They're just going to
As
suck
an
it up.
American taxpayer, I wish I could do that. If the case does
Me
go
too.
Nintendo's way once it starts back up again, consumers may not find any relief. What?
What a surprise there,
You
huh?
don't say. What? While winning the lawsuit certainly wouldn't hurt the company's financial position, there are other economic factors at play that could still affect console and accessory prices. Earlier this year,
totally.
Nintendo's president said a Switch 2 price hike is possible in the future if the current memory shortages persist. Those price pressures, like the ongoing lawsuits against the Trump administration, face a good deal of uncertainty ahead of time. So gamers will have to wait and see how things progress.
If you don't know what they're talking about the prices of RAM going up. And like it is insanely high and expensive because AI has driven RAM up. And while I don't see AI as a problem for you being used as a tool, that's not what it's being used as. It's being used as to make shit post videos, shit art and all that shit. And it's just not good. And it's being used for this shit because investors think, oh, it's the future. It's not the future. It's not near advanced enough to be the future yet. But like these companies getting like so much funding, they're buying up all the RAM, which then is jacking up the price of RAM, and then screwing us because then now the RAM prices are being jacked up so high, and then it's screwing the companies, which then will screw us because then the companies that are buying the custom RAM that they need, well, the price jacks up high for them too, and then fucks us.
All my gamers, my dear Nintendo 2 Switch owners, you're not going to get any sort of relief. You're not going to get any sort of payback. As a matter of fact, if Nintendo wins this lawsuit, the first thing they're probably going to do is up the price on you regardless. For all we know, tariffs could be keeping Nintendo at bay. At the end of the day,
Política, obviously.
either way, suffer, Nintendo, suffer! It just feels good. Feels good. I love to see Nintendo be denied what they want. Well, it's not denial. It's all on pause at the moment because there's so many of these lawsuits going towards the Trump administration. Tariffs impacted consumers, if we're being honest. That's who was impacted. Consumers. These companies had their asses covered by us. And at the end of the day, they're the ones who get the money. They're the ones who get the refunds.
Yep.
And consumers get what? Nothing.
Jack squat.
And once all this tariff bullshit is done with, they're still going to skyrocket prices on you. You're not going to see price drops. You're not going to see deals offered to you. You're going to pay more, and you're going to be a good little pay pig, a good mass consumer. You're going to go buy expensive 600.
See, I said before, like if I get a better position in my job and all that, the most I might do is buy a used Nintendo Switch 2 and some of the new Pokemon games that will come out. Maybe even Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or Pokemon Scarlet, but I'm buying all physical now because you can. There's devices that have released where it allows you to back up your copies of your games legally. Now, not for the Switch 2 yet, but I got one for the Switch 1 to legally back up my copies of my games in case anything ever happens. I have a backup. But see, I hate buying. I hate the way the Nintendo's going with this, and I do believe it will take a downfall. And that's also the reason I rather buy secondhand games. I'm gonna buy a secondhand Switch and buy secondhand games. But I'll buy the secondhand games locally and hope that they weren't dumped and then put on another Switch, because then I can get console banned for that, which then will break my Switch, which will suck. But they can't dump Switch 2 files yet because there's not one for that, so I just don't put Switch 1 games into it. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, it's crazy shit going on in the world, and companies are getting way more greedy, and they're just not even sorry about it.
$100 Pokemon Lego set, which will be $800 after this is all said and done. There's
Oh,
no
that can eat my
win
ass.
for the gamer here, and it's very strange to see online sentiment be, oh, this is great. Take that, US government.
How
when in
is it
return,
great?
you're gonna get nothing from the companies. No price drop. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Nobody who is a paying consumer wins in this matter. And that's
We
the
don't.
harsh reality
It
of
just
the
sucks,
situation.
man.
But it's another example of how politics affect your gaming experience, isn't it? In a case like this, I'm on nobody's side. I wish there was mutual destruction here between the US government and companies. But instead, the only ones who get the brunt end of that is us. And if you want to see videos like this and more, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to.
Well, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked the video. If you want to check this guy out, again, he'll be in the link in the description below. Really cool dude. And he's not wrong. It really does suck. Like, the consumer, at the end of the day, we are just going to get fucked. I don't like to pay for Nintendo shit, but I will pay for Nintendo shit if I want it. Like, I want the Pokemon Fire Red that they got on the Switch. Honestly, God, I really want to get that. Because, like, impulsive nature thought, I guess. I'm still on the fence about it. I might eventually get it. And I might get a Genkai or something like that to stream it, even. Because, like, I used to like to do shiny hunts. But, other than that, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Would you leave a like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And until then, though, I'll catch you next time.